What is up, guys? Misha here from Beyond the Huddle, and welcome to this week's altcoin forecast. So as always, guys, first we will break down the SMI, which is our sentiment indicator, and then we will go ahead and we will review Bitcoin. We'll do a recap on what Rafi mentioned in yesterday's Bitcoin forecast, and then after that we will go ahead and we'll analyze the altcoin market, and then we will break down Ethereum. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and let's jump right into it. Right now, we are looking at the SMI, guys. This is in our Discord group, and we'll take a look at the last few alerts that came through for the SMI. Now, Rafi went over this yesterday. If you haven't seen it on the Bitcoin forecast, go ahead and check out that video. But overall, what Rafi was talking about was what we saw here, which was very strong accumulation that happened for a pretty long period of time here, which allowed us to see this rally here. Now, what Rafi was mentioning was that the accumulation was slowing down. We're starting to see distribution, and we saw about 2 yellow bars here of distribution, which caused a drop, and now we're starting to see strong accumulation again. So what we would want to see is we want to see this strong accumulation to continue in order for us to see a bottom. If we just see just 1 bar or maybe just 2 bars, kind of what like we saw here of strong accumulation, that's not going to be enough to hold price, and we might be able to drop below the weekly level and continue to the downside. But if this continues and gives us more and more strong accumulation, that might be a discount buy that's happening. So this is for the short term, and let's go ahead and take a look at the last time we got the long term, which is here. And you guys can see we saw the 2 distribution bars right here, and then now we're getting accumulation again, but nothing too strong on the long term. But as you guys saw in yesterday's video, like Rafi mentioned, very strong accumulation happened for a couple days here, and then we saw a low form there. So now what we want to see is strong accumulation to come in again in order for us to get a discount buy here instead of price just rolling over to the downside. So that's what we're looking at on the SMI. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin itself. All right, guys, we are now looking at Bitcoin, and the interesting thing about Bitcoin right now is that, like Rafi mentioned yesterday, we are above the weekly level. We actually used the weekly level as support earlier in the week to create this rally right here, which we know that this entire area right here, there was massive accumulation happening based on what we saw on the SMI. So we saw a rally here, but the key is that we are still below our monthly level here. So a lot of time what ends up happening when we're above the weekly and below the monthly, it ends up being a premium sell. And that seems to be what we're seeing here. So if I were to go to maybe my 4-hour time frame, and we look at this range that we have right here, swing high, swing low, you guys can see that we just hit the 61.8 area right here, and we are starting to see a drop. So what we're going to have to see is, are we going to see stronger accumulation come in around this discount area? So we could mark out this discount area here. Boom, you guys can see how that lines up with our weekly level. So how is that going to play out once you reach those levels with the weekly open and this weekly level here? If these levels were to break, then we're obviously going to see lower prices down into 38K, which was our next target. The first target was these 2 down candles right here, which we came down into. We pretty much pierced through both of these candles, so I removed the box that I had here. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens when we get there. If we see strong accumulation to potentially push us back up, or if this was, like I was saying, a premium sale, and we're going to continue towards these levels right here. So that's still to be decided, guys. It's not too clear at the moment, but if you want to go just based off of these levels, then you would have to assume that this is a premium sell, and then you'd have to wait to see what happens at this area and see if we get accumulation and some reversal signal. So now that we understand that Bitcoin is between the monthly and the weekly level, and that we're going to have to see what happens here, let's go ahead and take a look at what the altcoins are telling us. Okay, so now we are looking at the total market cap and the altcoin market cap. So first, well, not the altcoin market cap, the altcoin index, sorry guys. So first, let's take a look at the total market cap. And if you guys remember from the video last week, we spoke about this level and then that level, and then I also had this level right here. So, and I just added this area right here. So right now, this area right here is being used as support, and that's kind of where we saw the accumulation on the SMI right here, allowed us to see a rally. Now this area is going to be a key area right here, right? So if we are able to go back above this level, then we can potentially target that level, and if we're able to go back above that, then we can continue the run to the upside. But if we use this, if we stay below this level, then we're very likely going to come down. And when we come down, the key is going to be, are we going to see accumulation on the SMI? If we do, then we can potentially see a return to a discount. So we'll see a discount buy right here. If not, then we're very likely to continue to the downside and hit this area right here, which is around the 1.7 trillion. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm seeing on the total market cap. If we look at things from a weekly time frame perspective, not only do we have the level that I mentioned, but we also have these demand areas down here, which is kind of where the 30-ish K Bitcoin zone is. If we're gonna come down here, we're probably gonna see about 30-ish K Bitcoin if we come down into these demand areas. So that's what we're seeing on the total market cap. Again, nothing too crazy. Right now we're seeing we're below the 3-day open. We have a bearish 3-day candle, and today is a massive, well, not a massive down day, but a pretty significant down day. So this is the key resistance here. If we break that, then we're targeting here. And as you guys can see, what lines up with this resistance right here is also a daily supply, and this is clearly a premium sell. So once you reach this area right here, daily demand, weekly open, if we don't see accumulation, very strong accumulation, we're headed towards this area. So that's what I'm seeing on the total market cap. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the altcoin index. So altcoin index right here, from the last video, you guys remember I had this level right here as a target. And as you guys can see, price did not hit that level. We kind of bounced a little before hitting that level. So what we're seeing here is a move higher. Now, this is telling us that altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin at the moment. But the key is going to be, are we going to see the alts break back above this daily supply right here, which we also have if we go to a 3-day time frame. You can see this is a 3-day supply right here, which lines up with the monthly/quarterly open. So these are the levels that I will be paying very close attention to. If we drop down into a 4-hour time frame, you guys can see right here how we are coming into, this is a 4-hour supply right here, which kind of lines up with the daily supply that we have here. So this entire little area right here is going to be important. So let's mark out this whole entire area, which we are hitting right now. Okay, and that's also a premium. If we were to go swing high, swing low, boom, that's our premium area. So that's going to be an important area. Are we going to break through that? If we're breaking through that, then alt outperform Bitcoin. If not, then Bitcoin might start outperforming alt, and we might see this roll over to the downside and potentially come down and hit this target right here, which we had missed at these lows. So that's what we're seeing on the altcoins, guys. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get into the fun stuff, which is going to be breaking down Ethereum. All right, guys, right now we are looking at Ethereum BTC. And if you guys watched the altcoin forecast last week, so last week's video, you guys know that we were talking about a couple different levels. At the time, I think we were using this area as support. And I said that if we broke that area, we were going to see price drop to this level, which was the first target, and then that level right here, which was our second target. So this was a daily demand right here, and this was a weekly demand area. If I go to the weekly time frame, you guys will see that is the weekly demand area. And we actually, well, barely missed it by a few sats right here, but we're starting to see a move back to the upside. So what's going to be important is if the altcoin index, which we just looked at, is going to continue to the upside, then we're very likely going to see Ethereum BTC continue to the upside and reach for this area right here, which is a premium. We have a daily supply. We have a premium if we pull our fibs right here. Swing high, swing low, we have a premium, we have the daily supply, and we have the monthly, quarterly, and yearly open around that area. So that's going to be an important area. Now looking at it from a lower time frame perspective, we have this 4-hour demand right here, which I had marked out, and this is going to be important. If we're able to go back below that, then there's a very high probability that this is going to continue to the downside and we're going to go lower. But if we keep respecting this area, then we're very likely going to continue to the upside, and we're going to target this premium area that I just mentioned right here. So that's telling us that right now, and again, we are below the monthly open at the moment. Sorry, not the monthly, well, we're below the monthly open, that is true, but I meant the daily open right here. So you guys can see this right here. We've been using this daily open as resistance and pretty much the entire day. So although, yes, this 4-hour demand is being used as support, we're kind of stuck between these two levels. So we have to go back above this daily open. That's going to have to happen if we're going to be continuing to the upside. If not, then we're very likely going to see prices continue to roll over. And if they start rolling over, then we could be looking at lower targets, which would be, if I go to my weekly time frame right here, well, we have this weekly level right here, but that's pretty big candle. Let's go down into our 3-day, and there it is. So now we can look at this area right here. So starting from this right here all the way down into here, so basically these two down candles here, we could look at that as a potential target. Now that would be a massive drop, so I'm not calling for that at the moment, but that's definitely something to be looking at. But if we respect this forward demand and we go back above the monthly open, then we can target this 3-day supply right here, which lines up with that monthly, yearly, and quarterly open. So that's what we're seeing on Ethereum BTC right now, outperforming Bitcoin overall ever since that low right here. But we're going to have to see what happens once we reach these levels if we continue to use demand zones as support. So now that we have gone over Ethereum BTC, let's go ahead and take a look at Ethereum USD. Alright guys, we are now looking at Ethereum USD. And if you guys saw last week's forecast, we were talking about how we had used this area right here as resistance, and there is a very high likelihood that we're going to drop down into this zone right here, which we did. And this is the area at the time where we were seeing major accumulation on the SMI, which we saw a retracement from there. Now, the question is, are we going to be using this as a premium sell, this area right here? So let's go ahead and just mark out from swing high down to swing low. You guys can see we did not quite reach the premium. We kind of reached the equilibrium price point of that range. So dropping down into a lower time frame right here, now we can start to see a premium. We can start to see a supply area. So we have our 4-hour supply here. Boom. Now that's a key level. As you guys can see, we have been using this as resistance, and we're also using this little area as support. So the key here is going to be, are we going to bounce off of this area? If we break through this area and we don't see accumulation as we're reaching this discount right here from swing low to swing high right here, if we don't see strong accumulation once we reach this discount, then we're very likely going to roll over to the downside, especially if we go below the Bitcoin weekly level. At that point, we're very likely to see prices come down to this area right here, which is about 2200. Okay, now if we keep using this as support, or maybe we come down into here and then we see the strong accumulation at this discount area, we have the weekly open there, we have a daily demand there, we see strong accumulation, then we're very lucky to see price come up to the upside, and then we're going to be targeting this little area that I have marked out here. Let's actually make this bigger. I don't know why I made this so small. Right here. So this is going to be an area right here around the 3600 right here, and then also the monthly, weekly, and not weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly open. And if we go down into a 3-day, you guys can see that's a 3-day supply right there. So that would be our target here before we start thinking about a continuation of the bull market. Once we're able to go past that, then we can start thinking about that. But as long as we're within this range right here, because this is a bearish range right here, we have to be very, very careful of what happens at the premium of that range. You definitely don't want to be buying premiums. You want to be buying discounts, which is why buying down here would have been a very, very good idea. But as you're buying here, you have to keep in mind, where are your different ranges? So you have this on this 3-day here, you have a big parent range, but then on the lower time frames, as we saw, we have smaller ranges, including this one right here, swing high, swing low, premium, 4-hour supply, and now price is dropping. So this is going to be a key area. If we drop down into a lower time frame, we can see that right here, this daily opens being as resistance, try to go back above it, unable to sustain, and then we went back below. And like I said, we're using this 4-hour demand as support. So that's our key level for now. If we break that, pay attention to the discount area here, what we're going to see if we're going to get accumulation. If not, we're rolling over to the downside. And if we do see accumulation, these are our target, this area right here, which pretty much is a premium. If we go here to here, you guys can see 61 to 78, that area right here, that's our target. So yeah guys, that's going to be it for today. Hope you guys got some value from the video. If you did, make sure to give the video a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you can get notified every time we drop a new video. And also, if you're not part of our Discord, make sure you check the link down below in the description. You guys can join the Discord where we talk about charts, on-chain, and a bunch of different things. So you guys can take part in the conversation and see what we're thinking. Make sure you check that out. And yeah, guys, that's about it for today. I will see you all in the next video. Peace.